The very man who's overseeing this assault on our freedoms is the same one standing in front of the world, chest puffed out, proclaiming how proud he is of our free speech history. It's enough to make you want to laugh if it, wasn't so terrifying.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, Keir Starmer believed he had the support he needed, yet trouble was quietly building. Trouble he never expected. It started with a simple discussion about free speech. For years, the UK has taken pride in defending freedom of expression. In that moment, Starmer felt certain he had the backing, authority, and control to handle the debate. But behind closed doors, a political storm was already forming, and he missed the warning signs. What began as an argument over free speech soon carried deeper meaning. For decades, Britain has seen itself as a nation that protects expression and lets people speak without fear.
We spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco, and we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, we have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think is a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
Labor leader Keir Starmer suddenly found himself cornered. His stance on free speech didn't just unsettle voters at home, it collided directly with American tech giants and powerful political figures across the Atlantic. Donald Trump spotted the weakness immediately. He sharply criticized Starmer's approach to international relations, warning that Britain's leadership was slipping exactly where U.S. interests mattered most. And Trump wasn't alone. Senator J.D. Vance joined the pressure, calling for stronger leadership in the UK and suggesting that Starmer simply wasn't ready for the challenge. This wasn't background chatter or casual criticism. It was a clear challenge from across the ocean, and the worst part was that Starmer appeared completely unprepared for the storm it triggered.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
As criticism continued to mount, Keir Starmer was pushed onto the defensive. His team rushed to reshape the narrative, but the damage was already spreading faster than they could control. This wasn't just background chatter anymore. It had become a full test of his leadership, and the cracks were beginning to show. Starmer's position on free speech has sparked a major firestorm, and it is no longer limited to the UK. For years, he has supported tighter regulations at home, but when those views carried onto the global stage, especially in his dealings with powerful American tech giants, the consequences quickly became far more serious. These companies aren't simply businesses. They shape public debate, control the flow of information, and hold enormous influence not only in Britain, but across the world. And now they are watching Starmer very closely.
Starmer's not just lying to the Americans. I think he's lying to us. He's lying to himself, perhaps, as well. And worst of all, he's lying to the very principles this country was built on. So what do we do about it? Well, we don't roll over and let them take our voice away, do we? We speak louder, we speak clearer, and we speak truth to power. We remind Starmer that free speech isn't a gift from the government, it's our right as British citizens. It's the cornerstone of our democracy, and we're not about to let it be chipped away by some half-baked legislation and doublespeak.
For many, the growing influence of big tech over public debate has already raised serious alarm. These companies operate with little real accountability, yet they still decide which voices are amplified and which ones are silenced. Keir Starmer's push for stricter regulations placed him on a direct collision course with these tech giants and, more importantly, their powerful American backers. What began as a domestic policy quickly spilled across the Atlantic. The debate over free speech is no longer just a UK issue. It has become a transatlantic flashpoint. American political heavyweights are now stepping in, warning that Starmer's approach could carry serious consequences, not only for Britain, but for Americans as well. And for Donald Trump, this was the opening he had been waiting for, the perfect moment to launch a brutal attack on Starmer.
We do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension, American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
Trump didn't hold back. He directly attacked Starmer, calling him weak on international relations and unable to protect American tech interests. In Trump's view, Starmer wasn't just mistaken, he was dangerously out of touch with the realities of global politics. His warning was unmistakable. If Starmer continues down this path, both the UK and the US could face serious consequences. But Trump wasn't alone. J.D. Vance quickly joined in, delivering his own sharp critique. Known for his blunt, no-nonsense style, Vance labeled Starmer's leadership as outright incompetent, particularly on foreign affairs. To Vance, Starmer's entire approach wasn't merely flawed. It was proof that he lacks the depth and strength to navigate the world stage.
But a lot of people are going, oh, Starmer's going to be humiliated. They're sort of talking it down as if, now Starmer's had some great, a great day out because he wasn't humiliated. I mean, is that really the level of our Prime Minister now, that he's had a good day because he wasn't made fun of?
Well, maybe that is the level with Keir Starmer.
According to Vance, Britain's approach to international relations wasn't just weak, it was dangerously naive. He argued the UK needed a leader who could stand firm, protect national interests, and manage the delicate balance of power between giants like the US and China. In his view, Starmer simply wasn't that leader. Vance went further, warning that without strong leadership, Britain's political future itself could be at risk. He emphasized the need for an unshakable alliance with the United States, particularly in critical areas like trade and technological dominance. A weak prime minister, he suggested, wouldn't just struggle, he could alienate allies and leave the UK vulnerable in an increasingly unstable world. For Vance, this wasn't just about Starmer's mishandling of free speech. It was proof of something deeper, a dangerous lack of political savvy. Britain, he insisted, needs a leader who can read the global stage, take charge, and lead with authority. And in his blunt assessment, Keir Starmer is far from that.
We can either stand up for our right to speak freely, or we can watch it disappear faster than a politician's promises after election day. Keir Starmer might be able to pull the wool over the eyes of our American friends, although I'm not entirely sure he's managed that, but he certainly can't fool us. We can see what's happening. We are living it. We know the truth. We know how it feels currently in Britain, and we won't be silenced.
Rather than giving Britain the clarity and confidence it desperately needed, Starmer's speech fell flat. It was vague, light on substance, and heavy on empty platitudes. He spoke in broad promises of change, but failed to explain how he would tackle the free speech conflict, handle ties with American tech giants, or respond to the sharp criticism from Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. What should have been a moment of decisive leadership came across as little more than damage control, a weak attempt to cover deep cracks in his authority. The press quickly tore it apart, highlighting how his words inspired little confidence and offered no concrete solutions. Public opinion reflected the media backlash. Instead of rallying behind him, many felt the labor leader seemed overwhelmed by global pressure, out of his depths, and increasingly unfit to lead Britain through an escalating international storm. Behind closed doors, unease within Labour grew louder. Senior party members, already restless, began questioning whether Starmer had the strength to survive this crisis. Some even whispered about potential successors, a dangerous sign that the cracks in his leadership were widening into full-blown fractures.
They get their money back by giving money. We don't get the money back. Biden made a deal. He put in $350 billion. And I thought it was a very unfair situation.
We're not getting all of ours. I mean, quite a bit of ours was gifted. It was given. There were some lends, but mainly it was gifted, actually.
Behind the scenes, Labor's internal tensions were impossible to ignore as Keir Starmer's public image began to unravel. Whispers inside Westminster grew louder. The attacks from Donald Trump and J.D. Vance had already shaken the party, but it was Starmer's weak and muddled response that truly sparked doubts about his leadership. Senior MPs, once firmly in his corner, began quietly asking the unthinkable. Was he still the right person to lead Labour at such a critical moment? Could he take control of the narrative or present a confident plan to handle free speech, foreign relations, and mounting domestic pressures?
Thank you. Mr. President, did our Prime Minister persuade you not to put tariffs on the UK? And if I may, Prime Minister, do you think that Vladimir Putin is a man who will keep his word? Thanks.
He tried. He was working hard, I'll tell you that. He earned whatever the hell they pay him over there.
A growing unease is spreading through the Labour Party. How much longer can MPs support a leader who seems increasingly unable to handle the pressure? Speculation about potential successors is no longer whispered quietly. It's becoming openly discussed. The question is unavoidable. Can Labour move forward with Keir Starmer at the helm, or is it time for a change in leadership? Inside Westminster, the cracks in his authority are widening. Outside, public confidence is faltering. Starmer now faces scrutiny from all sides, and doubts are only growing louder. Can he steady the ship, or is his time as leader nearing its end? What do you think? Can Starmer recover, or is Labour already preparing for life after him? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the battle shaping off script.